Something else really cool that we're talking about tonight on Evening Plus is this new sort of journey that's happening down in Paraguay with staff from the Grand Rapids Public Museum. I first introduced you to this journey a couple of weeks ago here in studio, but now that team is actually down in Paraguay as we speak. I spoke with them just a couple of hours ago about this research project to study a complex river system and how it plays a role in preserving bones. Here's our interview connecting Grand Rapids to Paraguay.
So you guys are in Paraguay. This is so cool. Probably the coolest interview I've ever done. How is the trip going?
It's going good. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dr. Corey Redmond. I'm the science curator at the Grand Rapids Public Museum, and I'm here with
Erin Corin, Director of Education at the museum.
and we are in Paraguay, which is in the middle of South America. Behind us, you can see the Pilcomayo River. This is the river system that we're studying here. We're currently near the town of Pozo Hondo, which is kind of the northwestern part of the country. Very remote, very rural. We're in what's called the dry Chaco region. So it's semi-arid lowland tropic. So think like kind of open, thorny forests. Yeah, and Erin and I were asked to join this international research collaborative project studying the Pilcomayo River system, which we were super excited about to join. This is Erin's second year. This is my third year. You know, science is a big part of what the Grand Rapids Public Museum does. And the way you are a reputable science institution is you do research. And we have been fortunate enough to ask to join an international research project. But Dr. Stephanie Organ at the museum, you know, she does local research with in the Grand River with the lake sturgeon.
So cool. And I know that we introduced folks at home to what exactly it is that you guys are doing there. It all surrounds this really intricate river system and how that may preserve, certain organisms over many years. Can you just kind of give a refresher on, what you're doing there day to day, what you are working to study?
Sure. Yeah. So what we're looking at is we're looking at the distribution of modern bone on the landscape with respect to this river system, the Pilcomayo River. So the Pilcomayo is what's called a megafan river system. So think of like an alluvium fan, but just on a much, much bigger scale, thousands of kilometers. And what we're interested in doing is looking at where do you find bone on that landscape, modern bone, and what kind of shape or preservational state is it in? And the idea is we want to study the present bone to better understand fossil bone when we look at the rock record.
Yeah. So we have paleontologists on our team. We have some sedimentologists, some geologists, and we've got a really great crew that we're part of this year. So we're from the Grand Rapids community, from Grand Rapids Public Museum, but we have 16 people on our crew. We have researchers from the University of New Mexico. We have researchers from FACEN, a faculty of exact and natural sciences here in Paraguay and Asuncion. We have a researcher from the University of Nebraska, and we also have a researcher from the University of the Rio Cuarto in Argentina. So it's awesome. Everybody is super hardworking, super friendly. People have a good sense of humor. All these things are super important for field research when you're spending all day with these people, camping out in the field. You're far away from your home and your family. So it's necessary, but super good to have a crew, have a group of people that can work hard and get along well.
Yes, it's so cool that there's so many people from so many different areas all together here. And some people may notice that, compared to my outfit, you guys are quite bundled up. And some may think they're in Paraguay. It's got to be warm there, but it's actually winter. Tell me a little bit about what it's been like.
Yes, great question. So how's it been going? We're in the southern hemisphere. We're in Paraguay, which is in center of the country in South America, and it's their winter. So we have been bundled up with layers here because it's been about 40, 50 degrees. Overnight it was maybe in the high 30s, low 40s. So even if it's summertime and it's warmer back home, it's definitely cooler here for us. but it's been going really great. We've had some, challenges with our trip so far. Nothing that's unexpected when you're doing this kind of remote field work. For example, some members of our crew had pretty significant delays on the airplane. So we had a flat tire on the drive out here to this kind of the Chaco region that we are. That's pretty far from the capital of Paraguay. But we're set up. We have just been finishing our first full day of research in the field today. So it's going well.
And as far as, we can see where you guys are, what I know just you said this is your first full day. What does the day look like? You don't have to go into crazy detail, but what are you doing all day long to work on this research?
Yeah, I'll let Corey explain.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the middle of winter, as Aaron said. So the one kind of limiting factor is daylight. So we try to maximize as much time in the field and as much daylight as we have. So we try to be in the field by about 8 a.m. and we're usually out between 5 and 5:30 because that's typically when 8 a.m. is when it's starting to get light enough that we can actually work, and by 5:30 it's basically dark enough where we can't work anymore. So we try to maximize that time. You know, Typical day in the field, it really just depends where we are. But like today, because it's our first full day in the field, we spent, the first half of the day training the new students. We have 5 new students from the University of New Mexico that have joined the project. So we wanted to spend plenty of time making sure everybody was very comfortable with the methodology and the data that they were collecting. So it's consistent regardless of who's doing the collection. And then the afternoon, most of the group went to uh, basically localities or bone sites that we've previously documented. And so they went back to some of those to basically re-examine the bone and record that data for this year. Aaron helped me dig a whole bunch of holes. So I spent the afternoon with Aaron digging holes and me describing basically the sedimentology, the soil profile, the stratigraphy, some of the sub-environments of the Pilcomayo River.
Yeah, hard work. I didn't mind getting a little sweat, getting a little warmed up, digging holes when it's been a little chilly here.
I
I
love
do
that.
want I do want to say, so as Corey's describing, there's multiple branches sort of research in the field, and some of the scientists have little different areas of expertise. So some people are searching and documenting large bones. Some people are doing the digging holes and studying sediment. Corey has a really interesting focus in the small vertebrate bones in places called microsites. And he has made a kind of exciting discovery here in Paraguay the last 2 years that I wanted him to briefly share about.
Yeah, so I was asked to join the project due to my background in studying what we call microsites, or these are localities that produce an abundance of really small, disarticulated, bone skeletal elements. And this is my 3rd year on the project coming to Paraguay, and the previous 2 years I was able to find a modern microsite as part of this river system, which to the best of our knowledge has never been documented before. I still have a lot of work to do on it to publish it, but one of the goals that we had when we started this project was let's try to find a modern microsite in a river system to the best of our knowledge no one ever has. If this is indeed, this Megafan river system is a really good modern example of what we see in the fossil record, we should be able to find them. And, I was fortunate enough to find a couple. And so that's kind of why I'm making Aaron dig holes for me. I'm trying to find more, as many as I can.
So cool. And I know this is so interesting to learn about. And of course, it's also so far away from us here in Grand Rapids, but a lot of what you guys are researching and looking into, you're going to bring back here to Michigan. How could that impact, work here in the United States in these similar fields?
So yeah, it potentially has a lot of different impacts. So paleontology as a field on whole is very interested in, how do fossil bone, like why do we find fossil bone where we do in the rock record? Why do we find it in its preservation state? That's kind of a broader field that's called taphonomy. What happens to a bone between the time the animal dies to the time it's buried and turned into a rock and fossilized. So the data that we're collecting here, the studies that we're doing, will be utilized by paleontologists all over the world as we publish the data, because we're doing a long-term study, multiple years, very large, river basin. So it's very applicable to just about any other kind of paleontology taphonomy related study.
And it's such an exciting opportunity for myself as director of education to join along, to be able to share. Like, this is one of the most exciting parts of science research. Is the experience is fantastic, but being able to add to the scientific understanding, the whole professional community, possibly have discoveries that are the first of their kind, it's very exciting. And I'm happy to be able to kind of document that and interpret it a bit, and share and hopefully inspire people who might be interested in pursuing a career in science, or just awareness about the process of research and how that can advance our understandings.
Yeah, we're really happy to have Erin join the project because she has a science and education background. And, she's not a paleontologist, she's not a taphonomist. She does have a biology background, but she can kind of help make sure that it can be, the research that we're doing here, the data that we're collecting can be appreciated and understood by just about anybody, which she's really good at. We try, but sometimes we fail.
So cool. And I know you guys still have, more time that you're going to be there. What does the rest of your trip look like, and how else can people follow along and learn about what you're doing from, back here in GR?
Yeah. So we will be here at this study site in Pozo Hondo for the next several days. Then we'll be traveling to really exciting, a kind of remote area, even more remote, in the northwest part of the country called Cerro Cabrera, where we'll be doing some work. Then we'll head back to another major study site called General Diaz, and our trip will wrap around July 14th. So a lot of the same methods that we described, studying bones, studying sediment. I'm really excited. Right now is a great time for people in our local community to check out more about the project. If they want to see a day in the life of field research, if they want to see fun stories, funny stories, inspiring snippets about STEM careers, we are taking over the museum's Instagram right now through July 3rd. You'll have some touch points with us, with the rest of our team members, kind of sharing a couple things in a day that help you feel like you're right along with us and can understand what field research looks like. We are also preparing on July 9th for a really awesome event at the Grand Rapids Public Museum. It'll be in person in the Meyer Theater, July 9th at 11 a.m. There will be a free event, free with general admission, to the Grand Rapids Public Museum. We are coming in for a live virtual event. So there will be a program. We'll have some of our colleagues at the museum talking with people, having some photographs, but our crew, some members of our team, will come in through Zoom on the big screen. We'll show you some of our research in action, and there'll be an opportunity for people in the audience to pose questions to us that we can answer, and help people get answers to what they might be curious about, maybe why people chose to pursue these types of careers, and things like that. So we're super excited for that July 9th, free with general admission, 11 a.m. event at the museum.
Oh, so cool. I'm so excited for you guys to continue your trip. Is there anything that I haven't asked? Anything else that you want folks back here at home just to know about any and everything that you guys are doing in Paraguay?
I don't think so. Just follow the Instagram. Erin's going to be posting a lot throughout the whole trip. And yeah, thank you very much for letting us join you and share what we're doing in Paraguay. It's really exciting.
Yeah, Julia, thank you so much for helping us bring this story, have a touch point with our community back home. We miss everybody. We're looking forward to returning, but we're really enjoying this work and really happy to be able to bring awareness to it and hopefully inspire people.